Good afternoon. I want to set the record straight. And given that our next two ports are at either side of the Isthmus of Panama, it feels only right to give both sides of the story. This morning, we spoke about the French. We spoke about the Americans. We spoke about the Panamanians and the British and the Spanish and the Nicaraguans. So I think we need to balance this all out. We need to talk about the other side of this engineering prowess. We need to talk about nature. I want to take you back to a time before humans arrived on this isthmus that is now home to the countries of Costa Rica and Panama. A time that we like to call prehistoric, as if history requires human involvement. It's not prehistoric, it's pre-human, and it's a huge history. This skinny little isthmus is one of the most critical spots on the planet, and it's got nothing to do with shipping. Long before humans set foot on what is now Panama or Costa Rica, the Isthmus of Panama was a bridge between two worlds, literally. It was a place where megafauna roamed, ancient forests thrived, and a great biological exchange shaped life as we see it today. But let's start before that, with the land itself. Roughly 3 million years ago, the Isthmus of Panama rose from the sea, and this was monumentally significant. But great things take time, so it actually took about 75 million years for the Isthmus of Panama to transform from a chain of underwater volcanoes spurting out lava bit by bit to becoming a fully formed land bridge between two continents. The Cocos Plate to the west, the Caribbean Plate to the east, pushed against each other, baying like a deck of cards forced at their head into a shuffle. This tectonic collision drove the ocean bed upwards towards sea level. Eventually, it would break through the surface. And so, about 5 million years ago, we would have found a chain of volcanic islands between the two continents of North and South America. And those volcanic islands continued to erupt. And with each eruption, their landmass would flex ever so slightly, inch by inch. But this isthmus didn't just grow from below. I want to tell you both sides of the story. Everything's connected. Once the submarine volcanoes broke through the waterline, they didn't just change the look of the ocean. They changed the look of the sky. Because mountains play a big role in what the weather is doing. Mountains play with the winds. Mountains reach up to the sky and they switch on the rain. And the rain, each little pelt, insignificant when taken alone, channels back down to the sea, forming streams and rivers wherever it goes. But rivers aren't just made of water. Every time a pregnant dollop of water splattered and sprayed against the volcanic rock of these new Central American islands, it carried a little bit of sediment with it. Rivers from North America, South America, and then newly formed Central American islands all trickled sediment from the mountaintops back down into the seabed, filling in the gaps of this new shallow ocean. So the isthmus shot up from below. It was filled in from above. But it would have fallen into a rather unstable mess had it not been for the assistance of coral reefs, mangrove forests, which combined stabilized the newly forming coastline. An incredible collaboration between tectonic forces, weather, animals, and plant life. A massive building project, and not a single human was involved. But the implications of what had now happened were huge. For the first time, the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans were cut off from each other. and so the ocean currents changed. The Gulf Stream intensified, warmed up Europe. The Pacific Ocean became saltier. Some experts say that by rising from the ocean bed, it was the Isthmus of Panama that caused the last ice age. 3 million years ago, the newly formed Isthmus of Panama, because in geological terms, a few million years does still count as newly formed, was the site of the Great American Biotic Interchange. Now, despite sounding like something that came straight out of an H.G. Wells novel, there is nothing sci-fi about the Great American Biotic Interchange. As soon as the land bridge formed, wildlife from North and South America began crossing it. The first footprints to tread on the dry land of the Isthmus of Panama were huge. Giant ground sloths from the southern continent lumbered through forests, 4 meters tall. These beasts were as big as elephants, and they would slowly lope around the high branches of the canopy. Saber-toothed cats like Smilodon stalked the shadows as they migrated from the north, waiting to pounce on unsuspecting prey. Terror birds, flightless carnivorous giants, ruled the open grasslands. They towered over smaller creatures with their hooked beaks. Not just on land, but water animals were also gigantic in this time. 33-foot crocodiles, sea turtles the size of a dining table. As animals from the north, bears, big cats, deer and wolves moved south, and creatures from the south, giant sloths, armadillos, anteaters and opossums ventured north. They adapted, they interacted, and they reshaped entire ecosystems, creating what continues to this day to be one of the most biodiverse environments on Earth. And they did it all without our help. Seasons were dictated by rainfall, lightning strikes and natural fires cleared parts of the land, creating patches of grassland between the dense jungle. Tree falls from massive cedars and strangler figs created openings in the forest, creating space for new species to take root. It was wild, untamed, and yet miraculously it was in balance. It looked after itself so well that by the time humans arrived, just a few thousand years ago, we were convinced we'd found heaven on earth. Talking of, let's open the portal and collect 2 new ports. Today, we're going to look ahead at Puerto Limon on the Caribbean coast of Costa Rica and Fuerte Amador on the Pacific side of Panama. Let's start with Puerto Limon. So, the captain mentioned in the lunchtime announcement that we won't be docking where we were originally intending to dock. So, we were originally intending to dock where this ship is, the NCL ship. As you can see, that's on a finger pier, and it's more exposed. What we're going to do is we're going to dock here instead. So we're just 1 dock further up, but this is protected from the winds from outside in the sea, and so it will hold us in a much more comfortable and safer position. As you can see, when you get off, which is likely to be on A deck, you're just going out onto a big tarmac area, and then you're going to follow up round the back of the ship. If we were to park that way, then it'd be round the back of the ship, out into the town area. We're right there. We're very close. Now, a point on accessibility. There are no wheelchair accessible taxis in Limon, so keep that in mind if you need that. Next one, we'll show you the map. As you can see, we are not going to be docked at this finger pier. We're going to be 1 up at this pier instead, but you can see it's very close to the downtown area. Not a huge port, this one, but it is very convenient. You'll also see that there is a passport in the top corner. This is really important. For this port, you must have your passport with you, your original passport. Not a photocopy of your passport, but the real deal. So please make sure that you have that with you when you head off. Otherwise, they will send you back to your room to go and get it. All right, let's go through our top 10 for Puerto Limon. And we will start here with the Sacred Heart Cathedral. It was established as a parish on the 26th of June 1891 by Monsignor Bernardo Augusto Tiel. And it serves as the main place of worship for the local Catholic community. The Catedral Sagrado Corazon de Jesus, short walk from the cruise terminal, 17-minute walk or so, central landmark in Puerto Limon. It's known for its unique blend of traditional and modern architecture. Beautiful stained glass windows, vaulted ceilings, really peaceful inside to visit. Think of it as the spiritual heart of the city. A nice, tranquil escape from what is a pretty bustling port. It is free to visit and open every day. The Regional Museum of Limon is housed on the upper floor of the historic post office and telegraph building. Gorgeous building, isn't it? Fascinating insight into the province's Afro-Caribbean heritage, indigenous cultures represented here, and also the banana industry. So, interesting place to visit on the upper floor of this building. Exhibits showcase pre-Columbian artifacts, photographs, documents, tracing the port's evolution. Importantly, it tackles the arrival of Jamaican immigrants who built the railroad here and have had a lasting impact on Costa Rican culture. There's music represented in there as well, Garifuna music, local folklore. It's not big. It's not a massive one. You can see the size of it just from the outside. But if you're interested in social history, then it's a really interesting place to visit. It's free as well. Sometimes there are guided tours available, but when those guided tours are available, they are available in Spanish only. So only go if you can speak Spanish. Number 3, somewhere not to go, unfortunately. This is a brilliant market, but it's closed on a Saturday. So don't head to the municipal market. That's the only reason I included it in this presentation, so that you know not to put that on your agenda. Number 4, a lovely park, the Parque Balvanero Vargas. Scenic waterfront park lined with towering palm trees. It offers ocean views back over the Caribbean Sea, shaded benches, relaxing atmosphere, just for a leisurely stroll. They've got some nice monuments in this park as well, honoring Costa Rica's Caribbean heritage. There's a statue of Marcus Garvey, who's a key figure in Afro-Caribbean history. Locals also gather here, so you're going to get a really nice local vibe. There are often street vendors in the park. They sell fresh coconuts, they sell souvenirs. Nice place just to sort of sit and watch and see what happens. Let's go for number 5. La Casa de la Cultura. So this is a small cultural centre. Again, it celebrates the region's Afro-Caribbean and indigenous heritage. It's in a historic building with art exhibitions. Sometimes they do music performances, cultural workshops, everything sort of showcasing the local traditions. The hours vary every day, so I don't know what hours it's going to be open tomorrow, but inside you'll see local artwork, Caribbean rhythms, and a little bit more about the history of the areas. Usually it's free to visit. So usually it opens, usually it's free. Sometimes they change their mind. It's one of those ones that's difficult to get accurate information on. Also, it was difficult to get accurate information on accessibility here too. So that's why I've put it grey. We've not seen a grey one before, and that's what grey means. Grey just means, I don't know. Number 6, let's go to the beach. But can we remind ourselves of some Spanish here? If I'm not mistaken, this translates to toilet beach. Nice beach. But you don't want to go in the water? No, I'm only kidding. That is the name of the beach, but Plaza Los Baños is a picturesque beach. Stretches over 2 miles, golden sands, great for leisurely walks, sunbathing. But there are restrooms near this beach, showers, picnic areas. It's very well set up for tourists. There is no lifeguard on duty though, but you can swim in it. You can swim in the water there. It is known for its natural hot springs, a result of volcanic activity. Perhaps that's how it got its name, because hot springs sometimes do have a bit of a whiff about them. Number 7. Parque Nacional Tortuguero is a biodiversity hotspot. Now, this whole part of the world is a biodiversity hotspot. This is a great place to experience that. Lush rainforest, wildlife, a network of canals in there as well. Some of this site is only accessible by boat or plane. And it's famous, this park, for the Tortuguero Canal, where you can explore dense jungle, you see the spotting monkeys, sloths, caimans, vibrant bird life. If you were to come back between July and October, then you'll also see endangered green sea turtles nesting on the beaches here. But that's later in the year, so you'll still see plenty if you go tomorrow. Boat tours are the best way to do it. Accessible wildlife viewing. There are a few trails. Not all of it is wheelchair accessible. Some of the terrain is a little bit lumpy bumpy. But if you're interested in this, I would talk to some of the local tour operators and they'll get you out there on one of the boats. We're going to stay natural here with the Veragua rainforest. This is an eco-adventure park. This is fun. It's located just under an hour from Puerto Limon. It's an immersive jungle experience. It's a private reserve. It features canopy walkways, waterfalls, wildlife exhibits. There's a research station there. Well, the most exciting part is that you can ride this aerial tram through the treetops. And then when you land, you can explore butterfly and frog habitats. You can take guided hikes to hidden waterfalls within the site. And just like in other parts of this area, you'll see sloths, toucans, poison dart frogs. Don't get too close. Some areas are accessible, some are pretty challenging. So take the route within the park that is most applicable to you. And it's a bit of a mixture here. It's got adventure, it's got conservation. It's a top pick if you're a wildlife and nature lover. If you love sloths, then the Sloth Sanctuary of Costa Rica, about an hour from Puerto Limon, is dedicated to rescuing, rehabilitating, and studying sloths. It was founded in 1997. It's got educational tours, so you can learn about 2- and 3-toed sloths. You can learn about their behaviors and conservation efforts. And then there's a buttercup tour, which includes a canoe ride through the sanctuary's wetlands as well. Now, the the tour with the canoe ride, that was closed yesterday because it's weather dependent. When it rains too much, that one goes on hold. So if that's one you really want to do, then check their website first to see if that one's open tomorrow. It's totally weather dependent. Some areas are wheelchair accessible. Certain paths are pretty uneven. But if you love wildlife, this is a rare chance to see Costa Rica's most beloved slow-moving residents really up close. Final tip for Puerto Limon: the banana plantation tour. Costa Rica is the second largest producer of bananas in the world. So a visit to a banana plantation can give a really fun insight into this massive economic and agricultural activity here. As you walk through the lush fields of banana trees, you'll see how they're grown, harvested, packed up on the trees for export. Guides will then explain the history of banana farming, its impact on local communities, the sustainability practices that are used today. And you can watch the workers skillfully processing bunches, learning about pest control, irrigation, even tasting the freshly harvested bananas straight from the tree. And they taste different when they haven't been on a truck ride for however many thousands of miles. It's great. There are a few different options. You will need a private tour. If you're not joining a ship tour that goes there, then you will need a private tour to get onto some of these plantations. But there are a few options. The closest one is where I've marked number 10, and that is roughly a 16-minute drive. All right, let's throw up the map for you. If you would like a photograph, now's your moment. Alrighty, well, we still got another port to go. So let's now get into Fuerte Amador. So this is on the other side of the Panama Canal now. We're going to be arriving into Fuerte Amador at night. So we're going to complete the journey at the canal, then we're going to go straight into port. And then if you want to, you can go out. Or you can stay on board and get out the next morning. The gangway's not going to close from when we arrive right the way through to departure the next day. This is the very definition of a finger pier, because that's the pier here. It used to be a tender port, but now they've built this pier. It could take 2 ships, and it's an awfully long way from Panama City. First of all, before I show you the map, I'll just show you what the facilities are. You've got tourist information there, toilets, some shopping in the local area there as well, if you just wanted to stay local. There's an ATM machine in the area too, and there are taxis that wait outside. These are special tourist taxis, which means expensive. Let's go to the next slide, and you'll see the journey. So, we're on the finger here. Then you have to go onto this island, then walk out here, all the way along here, which is 3 kilometers. So that's pretty long, just on its own. And then it continues on up. So it's actually a 14-kilometer journey, which would be about a half-an-hour drive to get to the center of Panama City. There is some stuff closer, and so that's where we'll start our top 10 before we venture a little further afield. So, the Centro Natural Punta Culebra, which is located on the Amador Causeway, is where you can explore Panama's rich marine and coastal ecosystems. This place is run by the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institution, and it's an outdoor nature center. It features touch tanks with starfish and sea cucumbers. There's an open-air aquarium with turtles and sharks, and there are interactive exhibits on marine conservation. So you can stroll along its scenic trails, you can spot iguanas and sloths and tropical birds, all while also enjoying wonderful views of the Panama Canal. Some areas are wheelchair accessible, but the trails themselves are pretty uneven. If you like nature, if you like marine life, if you like staying relatively local to the ship, then this is a great spot for hands-on learning and exploration. Next up is the Amador Causeway itself. Stretching 3 miles into the Pacific, this causeway connects Panama City to 4 small islands, and it was built using rocks that were excavated when they were building the Panama Canal. So this is reclaimed land. It offers stunning skyline views of the city, ocean breezes as you're walking along, a relaxed escape from the main city. You could walk it, you could bike it, you could rent a scooter and scooter along it. It's a lovely palm-lined path. There are restaurants, cafes, and at the very, very far end, so the bit that's furthest out into the water, is that nature center. And at the other end of the causeway is the Bio Museo, which was designed by Frank Gehry. And let's make that our top tip number 3. Look at that. Looks like an elementary school kid puked up on a building. The Bio Museo in Panama City, designed by the renowned architect Frank Gehry, looks nothing natural at all. It's a striking, colourful museum, and it is dedicated to Panama's biodiversity and geological history. Inside, you'll find interactive exhibits, immersive displays, a 10-screen projection room that explains how Panama's formation changed the world's ecosystems, like we talked about a bit at the beginning of the talk. It's a wonderful, wonderful space. It's a wonderful photo opportunity too. And if you're interested in the place's conservation efforts, you'll love it. Step outside here, and there's a biodiversity park, which is home to native plants, and again, more stunning canal views. It is fully wheelchair accessible. It is perfect for science and nature lovers alike, whether it's geology, evolution, ecology that you're interested in. Number 4, if by the time we arrive in Panama, you still haven't had your fill of the Panama Canal, then the Miraflores Locks Visitor Center is the place to head. And you can watch massive ships navigate this canal from multiple observation decks. You can watch the interactive exhibits. There's a 3D movie that you can watch. There's a museum explaining the canal's history, construction, and engineering marvels. And you'll learn more about the locks themselves and how they operate and the importance of the canal to global trade. If you are thinking to go here, the very best time to go is the morning or afternoon. Sounds silly because that's your 2 options of a day. So when I say morning, I mean relatively early morning. I mean 8 o'clock sort of time, even 7:30. When I say afternoon, I mean about 3 in the afternoon. Why so? Because that's when the ships are going through. Because the ships take between 7 to 10 hours to transit the canal, which means that they're all at the locks at roughly the same time at either end. Then they're all at the locks at roughly the same time at either end. And so because of that, you want to get there when there's actually something to see. It is wheelchair accessible. There's a restaurant there as well, so you can eat lunch with canal views, which, by the way, you can also do whilst we're in the canal. It's a must-see if you want to find out more about Panama's most iconic landmark, and if you're not canaled out by then. Number 5 is France Square, and we're going to stick with the Panama Canal theme for a moment, because let's not forget the French involvement. They were the ones who got the original project up and running. They didn't finish the job, but they played a huge part in what we will be sailing. And France Square, Plaza de Francia, is in the city's Casco Viejo, an old town part of the city. It's a historic landmark that recognizes, acknowledges, and honors the French engineers who began the canal project in the late 19th century. And the square features this tall obelisk, and it's topped with a rooster, which symbolizes France, because they chickened out of the canal. Any opportunity. As you stroll along the fortified walls, you'll enjoy stunning views as well of Panama Bay and also the modern skyline of the city. This area is fabulous. It's got boutique shops, cafes, art galleries here, a lot to see. It's pretty wheelchair accessible. Not absolutely every part of the routes are, but the square itself is, and it's just a wonderful place to soak up that historic part of the city. Let's go even older now, though. This is Panama Viejo, the original Panama City settlement. This was founded in 1519. It was later destroyed by a pirate, Henry Morgan, in 1671. And today, you can walk among the ruins of churches, convents, colonial homes, with the iconic bell tower offering stunning views. There is an on-site museum as well, if you want to find more information about the city's history, trade, Spanish conquests. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site as well, so some people are trying to collect all thousands of the UNESCO World Heritage Sites. This is one to tick off your list. I'll put it in the yellowy orange for wheelchair accessibility. It is accessible in some areas, but as you might expect from a site that looks like this, not all areas are accessible. It's fascinating, though. And after this, then the city moved to the modern Casco Viejo, which is where the French chicken is. If you're feeling like a shopping day, you've arrived. Albrook Mall is the largest shopping mall in Central America. It is a shopper's paradise. It's located near the Albrook bus terminal or the domestic airport, so you could take transportation out to either of those and you'd be able to get to the shopping mall. It has got hundreds of stores, 400 shops, 400 luxury brands right the way through to budget. It's got everything here. You'll find Panamanian souvenirs, international fashion, electronics, books, the lot. It's also got a cinema, it's got a bowling alley, it's got an arcade, there's a food court. It's great. You could spend a whole day in here and not see a single sloth. It is also completely wheelchair accessible. There are very wide walkways, there are elevators to every floor. So whether it's bargains, whether it's entertainment, whether it's just escaping the heat, this is a great option. Here's something back outside, Cerro Ancon Hill. This is Panama City's highest natural point, and it offers breathtaking panoramic views of the Panama Canal on one side, Casco Viejo, and the city's skyline on the other side. It was once a US military zone. It was returned to Panama in 1977, and it now serves as a protected reserve. To walk up the hill would take me roughly 30 minutes. So it's a rough 30-minute hike for me, and you can then adapt that to how you feel that would then be for you. But when you're there, you could spot sloths going about the same speed. Toucans, loads of different animals. Also, you've got that Panamanian flag. Now, that flag is the largest flag in the country. It proudly flies above the city. It's free to climb, and if you love nature, if you love getting that panoramic view, that photograph that just says, "I saw this place," then this is a wonderful way to do it. Here's another wonderful way to do it. This is the Metropolitan Natural Park. It's about 15 minutes from Panama City. It is the only tropical rainforest within a capital city in Latin America. It is a 265-hectare reserve, and it's got pretty easy to enjoy hiking trails. It's got stunning city skyline views, and more chances to spot sloths, toucans, monkeys, iguanas. And there's a pretty good range here of hiking trails. So you've got short walks if you just want to take it easy out in nature for a little bit and then get back into the town, or you've got the most difficult, which is roughly a 45-minute hike, and that takes you up to this point, which is the Cerro Cedro viewpoint. And it is worth getting up there, but that's the toughest of the walks in this park. There is also a visitor center in this park with more information on Panama's ecosystems and conservation efforts, and the entry price is $5. So $5 to get in and then enjoy this massive site. Let's finish up our top tips for Panama with number 10. Here's a market that is open. This is the Mercado San Felipe Neri, and it is located in the Casco Viejo, which is right by the French chicken. This is Panama City's main public market. So when you go here, you're going to be seeing local activity at its finest. You're going to see fresh seafood, tropical fruits. Oh, I love it. You're going to see vegetables, meats, Panamanian street food here at really affordable prices. If you have a strong stomach and you like to eat local food, then this is the place to go. Don't go to a restaurant Restaurants do tourist menus and tourist prices. This is where the locals come. And so very exciting to eat and experience it as a local. They're serving freshly marinated seafood that comes straight out of the Gulf of Panama. They chop it up and throw it at you. Fabulous. They've also got, I think it's pronounced hojaldres. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, it's fried dough, which is I like this sort of stuff, but it does sort of give you heartburn afterwards, but I find it's worth it. You just take an antacid with you. Anyway, I highly recommend popping by this market as a lunchtime or a snack type of experience through the day. All right, I've got two maps to show you here for Fuerte Amador. I broke it up because it's quite it's quite far away. So this is the stuff which is, I would say, in the immediate vicinity of the port. So if you feel more comfortable just staying local where you can still see the ship, then you're going to have a really nice day. Go to the museum at the corner there, number 1. You can spend some time outside, then walk along the causeway. You get beautiful views on both sides. That'll take you a good hour or so just to casually walk along. There are benches along the way too. And then at the other end, enjoy that fabulous piece of architecture, the Biomuseo, and then easily take your way back or pick up a taxi at either end, because there are plenty of taxis at both ends here. Or let's go over across into the city itself, and you can see that most of the other highlights are in this area, the Cascaviejo part of town. A couple of natural highlights going a bit further out. And then that's the original, number 6. The original Panama settlement is just slightly off the map. Got your picture? So, plenty of natural highlights to enjoy here in this Middle American Eden. And if you do head out for a day in Panama City's Parque Nacional Soberania, you'll be in the company of some 100 or so mammal species, 365 birds, a different species for every day of the year, including the harpia eagle, which is the most powerful eagle in the world and Panama's national bird. Crawling around you will be 79 species of reptile, 55 amphibians. In the water, 36 different types of freshwater fish shimmy their way around the polished pebbles. And in the trees, keep your eyes peeled for over 300 varieties of butterfly. It's no wonder the ancient civilization settled here in this natural paradise. It's a little surprise that the Spanish were so keen to invade. It's funny, when you look at how briefly humankind has been in this part of the world, and you look at what we've done, it took the Earth 75 million years to build the Isthmus of Panama. It took us 33 years to slice right through it. And we celebrate that as if it's progress. A clear passage from Europe right the way through to Asia. A Central American sea route connecting east to west. Of course that's progress. But isn't it funny that that's how it used to be before we ever got here? Anyway, that's nature's side of the story. Thank you.